SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
This show is brought to you by Sledge & Company Financial LLC. I'm Taylor Sledge, founder and CEO. At Sledge & Company, we help businesses and families do better with their money. Check us out on the web at sledgecompany.com. That's sledgecompany.com.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive.
A little different office backdrop for the next few days as we welcome you to Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Thanks for joining me. I am coming to you this week live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia. This week you've got SEC Football Media Days. Now about 6 weeks away from the less than 7. We're not quite to 6, but this past Saturday was 7 weeks on the dot until the start of college football season. That big week one where everybody will play. And so this week, Sports Talk Mississippi is at SEC Media Days. Now I'll be with the guys in the afternoon this week. So here we are to start the day as well. Not going to load you down with football content this week. We'll do the normal show. We'll mix in a little bit as some interesting things happen. But other than that, it's business as usual, including the C-Spire text line being open to you. 601-879-4395. 601-879-4395. And C-Spire's got it wide open right now. And if you're looking for game-changing technology, then you need C-Spire on your team. 5G wireless, fiber, home internet, business IT solutions built as tough as your defense. Learn more at cspire.com. C-Spire, inspired by you. Lance Tolbert he is in his normal seat, the catbird seat, the launch chair. Although I will say, Lance, that the launch chair actually may be Houston, because as I look to my right, which would be I guess to the left off the camera, it appears to me as if we could launch a space shuttle from the amount of equipment that Houston McDavid has. My man can make it happen.
Oh, goodness.
From anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. And we couldn't do it without him. What's up, buddy?
Oh, just, getting ready. I'm sure it'll be a busy week. Yeah, nothing has let us down lately, right? So, just getting all the ducks in a row, getting the cards shuffled just the right way to have a win in hand this week. But I'm looking forward to it. This is that crank-up time for football starts getting traction. Everybody's looking at rosters and how good you're going to be, and everybody's going to be undefeated, So it'll be fun hearing the commentary around what you guys are up to this week, too. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It certainly will be. And it's an energetic time of year, right? You're got a couple of 2 or 3 weeks left until to the start of school, depending on when your kids go to school and exactly what the calendar's like for your school year. So you're trying to soak in the last little bit of summer. You're trying to make sure you get the school supplies. Parents, some of them are counting the days until kids are headed back to school. Like, okay, we need some structure in our lives once again. And then you get to the fall and it gets really, really busy. At church yesterday morning, I guess it was the minister that said, we're halfway through the month of July. Everything right now is a countdown to Christmas.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, no, don't say it that way.
The countdown to football for me. But
yeah, let's not do it quite like that. Going to be a nice day across most of Mississippi. Oxford, sunshine and clouds mixed in today. Straight thunderstorm or shower possible. High of about 91 degrees with light winds out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll just do college towns. How about that? Starkville, 91 the high for you, except for a few clouds in the afternoon. Going to be mainly sunny. Also in that time of year where everybody's got a chance of a stray shower, a pop-up thunderstorm. Hattiesburg going to be the hot spot today. Partly cloudy early. Scattered thunderstorms developing this afternoon. 96 for your high today in the hub city. Winds light and variable. About 40% chance of rain. Not bad on the Gulf Coast. Biloxi, sunshine and clouds, stray shower possible, 91 degrees with the winds out of the west-southwest as well. We got birthdays for you, Lance. Got a couple of interesting ones, or at least a couple that I thought were interesting. You may have something to add here. William Hanna was born on this day in 1910. Pretty creative guy. He was an American animator. On his list of credits, Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, and the Jetsons.
That's a winning combination there.
Yeah. He was the founder of the studio Hanna-Barbera, born in Melrose, New Mexico. I always remember you'd see like the little cursive writing at the end of the show, like, this has been a Hanna-Barbera or Barbara production. I thought it was Hanna-Barbera, but, who knows? I don't know if the pronunciation I was using was correct, but I love the work. Big Scooby-Doo fan. Those are classics. I'm not a big fan of the new stuff, but, the old Scooby-Doos and Tom and Jerry. Wait, what do they do now?
Well, it's so much more like clean. You can tell somebody didn't literally draw it by hand. A lot of that stuff so much cleaner and much more crisp. I like the old rough stuff when they were using like the cellulose and somebody was in there cutting and clipping and it was really cool stuff. We're going back and kind of watching the craftsmanship and the artwork of those guys, like Hanna and Chuck Jones. And so, legends to me. But then you throw in,
Jerry gave Tom fits.
I loved those. I mean, it's like living at my house, Tom and Jerry is. I absolutely love it, man. I guess that's probably why I love having the, cats and dogs and all the action with the animals is you grow up with cartoons like I did and idolize those things, man. Just so much fun. But then would you say the Jetsons is in there too? He's a golly.
I added the Jetsons. I did that on my own, but I'm pretty sure that Jetsons was a Hanna-Barbera. You may have to double-check me on that.
I love the Jetsons, too.
Yeah.
Your boy Elroy,
Mm-hmm. Woody Guthrie was born on this day in 1912. You may not know him. American folk singer-songwriter. He is the guy that gets credit for This Land Is Your Land. He was a peace activist and the father of Arlo, born in Okemah, Oklahoma. So Woody Guthrie, father of Arlo Guthrie.
He was
quite the musical family.
Yeah, well, I mean, he kind of did a little bit of everything too. Good old Woody, man. He was one of those political types of songwriters and singers there. As he got going in his career, became much more of a leftist and also, kind of an anti-fascist type. And really, you found a lot of those folks back in those days, the political kind of songs and such. So he was one of them and one of the big dogs of it.
Gerald Ford, born on this day in 1913, 38th President of the United States, served from 1974 until 1977. He was the 41st Vice President of the United States, a couple of years in office there with Richard Nixon, born in Omaha, Nebraska. Of course, Ford in the 76 election lost his bid for a second term to Jimmy Carter. I don't know that that's a loss that you're fired up about having on your resume.
No, well, that, what was it? Taft, I think, was the first golfing president. And wasn't Ford a golfer? I mean, with those pants he wore and everything, he kind of had to be, but I thought he was a golfer also.
I will, I think that's right.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it some of the, he's always playing golf or he's asleep at the wheel? Because he was a great athlete in his day before he was a politician.
Yeah. I'm afraid if I was president, that's what they would say. He's always playing golf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You and Gerard would have a daily twosome at 9, get the briefing out of the way, go get about a 9-hole.
No, but I mean, given that I have access to this airplane and I presumably have access to great golf courses, I think on the weekends, family and I would take some trips to some good places where you could swing them a little bit. I think. Yeah. Conor McGregor's 37 years old today. The Irish mixed martial artist was born in Dublin. Says he's going to run for president of Ireland in the coming year. Maybe he's already launched a campaign. Not born in 1988. Pretty out there.
Yeah, he is. Do you remember that broken arm he had too? Goodness gracious, that was the weird.
In the ring, right?
Yeah, in the ring. I mean, that. Yeah. I haven't been able to watch him since then. It just did something to my brain. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah. Today is Bastille Day. 1789 is when the French Revolution began with the storming of the Bastille prison in Paris. It is now celebrated as France's National Day. The World's Fair in New York City opened on this day in 1853. President Franklin Pierce opened the Exhibition of the Industry of All Nations. They later decided that World's Fair rolled off the tongue a little bit better. It was at Crystal Palace in New York City. That is now the site of Bryant Park. If you were familiar with that area, not too terribly far from Times Square. Bryant Park does not strike me as big enough to hold a World's Fair now. I feel like the World's Fair has kind of gone away, too. Now, you remember they hosted that in Knoxville years ago.
It's called the Internet now, right.
Oh, well played. 1969, the United States, $500, $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 bills were officially withdrawn from circulation. Lance has to carry smaller denominations now.
You're dang right, yeah.
And on this day in 1976, the Democratic Convention in New York City nominated Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter for the president, along with Walter Mondale, who was a senator, for vice president. Got some news headlines for you next. This is Mornings with Richard Cross.
Judy in the sky. From the Venable Glass.
What's happening across your state? Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. Let's go way on the way back when.
I feel like we are paying homage to West Point. We're going to for the week. What a cool backdrop. So we're inside the College Football Hall of Fame for Mornings with Richard Cross this week. SEC Media Days is happening. Houston manipulating the camera, so you see it there. This is a salute to the military academies. Directly behind me, you see the split between the football uniform and the gray uniform for the long gray line for the United States Military Academy. On my right, your left as you watch, you've got the Air Force Academy uniform, the combination of the navy blue jacket with the gold sash and the white pants. And then on the other side, as Houston continues, United States Naval Academy. Of course, those fantastic dress blues that they wear in the United States Navy with the white lid and the Navy uniform underneath it. Annapolis, Maryland, the home of the Naval Academy. Off to the side, I have to get the Merchant Marine Academy uniform and the Coast Guard Academy uniform as well. So, really cool set. If you've never visited the College Football Hall of Fame, I would encourage you to give it a look. Very interactive, very family friendly in Atlanta.
And you get the Space Force.
Try it out.
You get Space Force uniform in there.
Well, they don't have a football team.
I know, but we need to work on that. That's what I'm saying. Be the first team to play like outer.
So we need the United States Space Force Academy, and those uniforms should be fantastic.
Well, you know they would be, man. They'd be amazing, and set up a little moon base. That'll be the next thing.
Yeah,
football.
It's an expensive ticket or an expensive travel to get there for their home game.
We can stream it
on the moon.
We can stream it here. Yeah, we got it.
Houston can.
Houston got
no
this.
Doubt.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start our news headlines by going back to Thursday. I know you and Scott talked about this a little bit on Friday morning, but I'm sure we had some that were out on Friday. And I just want to say thank you again for an incredible day at the 13th Annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon right here on SuperTalk, Mississippi. Over $336,000 raised on that Thursday. And some of that money continuing to come in, some additional funds continuing to come in as we roll into the new week. The 12-hour radiothon was at the Wellness Center on Palmer Home's campus near Hernando. We had a chance to visit with children that live there and staff and longtime supporters. And once again, we are blown away by your generosity. It was just an absolutely incredible day on Thursday. Also, we were honored to launch the Paul Gallo Memorial Fund in memory of Paul Gallo, and that's money that's going directly to the extracurricular activities for some of the kids that are there. Lance, it was a really special day, and it's one that leaves you reflecting a little bit, but also just kind of in awe of how generous the people across the state of Mississippi are. It's
an amazing day to begin with, just to have the mindset to help young folks that are there and need help, and providing the resources that are going to allow them to kind of trampoline themselves in their life, hopefully forward, and with the staff that you're dealing with. I mean, the people that I've gotten to know, just amazing people with huge hearts, the kindest folks. I mean, led by Drake Bassett, but everyone that we've had, they're just remarkable people. And then third, the generosity of all of those that have contributed and step up and answer the bell. It's heartwarming, and it's inspiring. And remember, just because Thursday's over, there's always needs, and you can always go to Palmer Home for Children and donate. And it's never enough. It's I hate to say that, but that's where we are in this world. It's never enough. And any gift that you give, always think you're helping somebody directly. These folks don't take government money, and they put it right toward the children. And I'm just honored to be a part of it, honestly.
As am I. That is well said. You remember last Monday we told you about the train derailment. In fact, we had three of them that happened over the previous weekend, with one in the Sardis area and then one in Petal. Not Petal. Petal or Pearl? Petal.
Petal, yeah. It was down
yonder. Yep, it was Petal. Yeah. But the one that got the most headlines was the train that derailed in Glendora, which is a small community in Tallahatchie County. The Mississippi State Department of Health has concluded sampling and found that the water system in the village of Glendora is not contaminated after a train car carrying benzene derailed last weekend. A blaze broke out when the Canadian National Railway train derailed on the 5th of July, day after the Independence Day celebration. There was an aerial photo that saw the crash, and you had cars just scattered all over the place. It was like somebody took a box of Legos and just kind of dropped it on a hardwood floor, and they just scattered. That's what it looked like where the trains were. In the days after the crash, State Health Department officials collected samples from the Glendora water supply to test for potential impacts from the derailment. They were worried about the benzene because it is used in coal and consumer products. If ingested, it can cause some pretty nasty symptoms. Canadian National also did their own testing. They found, just like the State Department of Health, all good. Even with the lab results showing no detectable levels of benzene, the State Department of Health is going to increase how often it monitors the water supply there in Glendora, going from once every 6 years to once every year. So, good news on that front for the people of the village of Glendora. 2 women yesterday died at a church in Lexington, Kentucky. Did you see this?
Mm-mm.
Hello, Matt Moscona. Sorry, one of my colleagues from Baton Rouge walking by. Shooting that started after a carjacking. So the suspect carjacked a vehicle, and then through a plate scanner, like a camera, was found by police. He shot a state trooper and then fled the scene to Richmond Road Baptist Church in Lexington, where he opened fire. Police Chief Lawrence Weathers said killed in the shooting were a 72-year-old woman and a 32-year-old woman. Very, very sketchy on the details here. And I would encourage you to maybe kind of hold off on, this is exactly what happened on this one, because there are a lot of divergent stories that are on the web. All the way from this guy was a pro-Palestinian to the person that he was looking for wasn't actually there and said somebody's got to die. Somebody did die. 2 somebodies did. 2 other people were wounded as well, according to the police chief. 1 victim sustained critical injuries. The other was in stable condition. The suspect was shot by police, died at the scene, not immediately identified. Preliminary information indicates that the suspect may have had a connection to some individuals at the church. Troopers said that the vehicle after receiving a license plate reader alert, was shot about 11:30 a.m. That's when the vehicle stopped. Man, this is, 2 out of the last 3 weeks on a Monday morning we've had a story about a shooting inside a church.
Senseless stupidity. Goodness.
I will admit, we're in the last decade, really, where churches have started taking security seriously. And there was a little bit of pushback initially. I don't know if it was like that in your church, but there were people that were uncomfortable. The idea of, this is supposed to be the house of the Lord. It's supposed to be a house of worship. Do we really want people who are walking around, that are carrying guns, that are communicating? And the answer is yes. Overwhelmingly, yes.
I can't disagree with that. People that are sick in the brain.
You've got churches that, part of their, you might have a deacon that is over the security team, and their job is to work with local law enforcement officials. Where we go to church, there is an off-duty police officer that sits in a car in the parking lot, and our church has a security team as well with folks. They act like greeters, to be perfectly honest with you. They're stationed at all the doors and kind of keeping a head on a swivel during the worship service, but the idea is they are there in the case of a threat. And we know that threats are real. What a difference a year makes. 1 year removed from the anniversary of the assassination attempt on the life of President Donald Trump, he went to a soccer match. Joined by family, friends, and close advisors, Trump was at MetLife Stadium at the Meadowlands to witness Chelsea's dominating FIFA Club World Cup final over Paris Saint-Germain, or PSG. President Lance, he had a moment that only Donald Trump can have yesterday. So Chelsea wins this match. Trump goes on the field. He presents the second-place medals, and then he gives Chelsea their trophy. And so normally when somebody ceremonial hands off a trophy, they hand it off, shake hands, and then what do? They walk off stage. There was somebody that was trying to shoo him off the stage. He just joined the whole photo celebration. He stayed right on stage with the Chelsea team, grinning like a Cheshire cat, ear to ear, and wouldn't go anywhere. There were some other things that were going on as well, including officials from Qatar that were there. And Steve Witkoff hoping that they can get an Israel-Gaza ceasefire negotiated. The Qataris are serving as the intermediaries during that negotiation period. Sports headlines coming up next. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
From the White House to your hometown, this is where you find out what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Atlanta, Georgia for the next few days as we get set for the start of SEC Football Media Days. This year at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. This event rotates from place to place. Had a long run in Hoover, Alabama at the Winfrey Hotel. Started kind of bouncing around a little bit. Atlanta, Nashville, Dallas last year. Back in Atlanta, which is a pretty easy spot. A little easier to get in and get settled in when there's not a Beyonce concert going on across the street. The Cowboy Carter crowd was out in full effect last night, Lance. Full effect.
I bet there's going to be a fun week over there. You were talking about Norsworthy, scooting by. There'll be a lot of personalities over there that are getting all the notes and everything ready to go.
Right.
Man, it'll be a blast.
That is right. It is. It's time for your morning sports update, and it's brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Online, you can find them at pearlriverresort.com, your destination for casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment, pearlriverresort.com. So the Major League Baseball draft began last night, and kind of a cool night for the state of Mississippi. The first player with Mississippi ties taken was JoJo Parker, the shortstop out of Purvis High School in Purvis, Mississippi, taken 8th overall by the Toronto Blue Jays. Second consecutive year that the state of Mississippi has had a shortstop taken in the top 10 picks of the draft. Obviously, Connor Griffin did it last year, and his start to pro ball has been outstanding. Purvis was the Mississippi Gatorade Parker was the Mississippi Gatorade Player of the Year. Led Purvis to another championship series appearance. He was ranked by MLB.com as the number 9 overall prospect in the draft, and he went 8th. At number 45, which was early, midway through the second round, Southern Miss right-hander J.B. Middleton was taken by the Colorado Rockies. He was the 2025 Ferris Trophy winner as the best college baseball player in the state of Mississippi. Went 10-1 with an ERA just over 2 and was second nationally in WHIP, 5th in hits allowed per 9 innings. Had 122 strikeouts, which was 7th best in the country a year ago. That pick number at 45 holds a slot value of a little better than $2 million, $2.17 million. By the way, for JoJo Parker there at the number 8 pick, the value of that pick in the way that they lay those out, just shy of $7 million.
That's a nice day.
Man, can you imagine being in high school like JoJo Parker or like Landon Harmon, the right-handed pitcher out of East Union Attendance Center? Now, look, friends, we have traveled all over the state of Mississippi. East Union is not a large place. Union County is not a large place, but East Union within Union County, small place. And you need evidence that if you are good, they will find you. There it is, Landon Harmon going the 3rd round, the 80th overall pick to the Washington Nationals. Highest prep pitcher taken in the MLB since J.T. Ginn was picked in the first round of 2018. The new Albany product boasts big league potential. Fastball that brushed 99 miles an hour last year in his senior season. His slot value is about $1 million. Jake Cook for Southern Miss taken in the 3rd round, 81st overall. Mason Morris out of Ole Miss.
Got to say,
in the 3rd round, number 83 overall.
Jake Cook grew up with his parents. Congratulations, Nick Monaster, those guys. I've been watching them a long time. What a great day for Mississippi and some of those young men out there that have been punching the clock for a long time, man.
Yeah. Cook, super, super athletic. His slot value just below $1 million. Same thing for Mason Morris, who was just 2 picks after Jake Cook. Morris out of Tupelo High School and had a big year for Ole Miss. He's got that cut fastball that's so good, and he throws it hard, and he's got a chance now to go be a professional.
Now, I'm curious how
cool stuff.
I'm really curious how they're going to use him in the pro game. Ole Miss used him primarily as a as a reliever. I'm sorry, and but he's got kind of starter stuff. You know, he's got the mix, got the build, got the velocity. Curious to see how that's going to work out. But what a great year for Mason Morris, and congratulations to him as well.
I'm going to say that he's a relief pitcher and a relief pitcher in short stints.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're trying to extend him. If you go back and look at his numbers, second time through the order, once he gets to about the 50-pitch mark, the numbers fell off a little bit.
Yeah.
But fresh arm out of the bullpen for 15 to 25 pitches, unhittable.
Teach him
just unhittable.
Teach him a split finger, and the kid won't be hit ever, I don't think, because he's nasty as it is. But
so you go slider, splitter, and 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and
you get
right. The makings of a 20-year big leaguer, right?
Yeah. Teach him the split. Yeah, he'll be fine. He's got lightning in that arm, man.
For the first time in his career, veteran slugger, former Mississippi State Bulldog Brent Rooker, competing in the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. That is tonight, and it's happening just down the road from where I sit at Truist Park in Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves back to hosting the All-Star Game. Remember, they were supposed to host the All-Star Game a few years ago, but there was some political activism, we will call it that had the All-Star Game stripped out of Atlanta. There were people that did not like the voting laws that were enacted, ID, verifying who you are. And it was in the middle of, leftist craziness, and they ripped the All-Star Game away. And then a couple of years later, somebody's cooler heads prevailed, I suppose, And they were like, that new ballpark with the battery all around it really deserves the All-Star game. So here they are, and it's happening tonight. Rooker announced that he was participating yesterday via Instagram, saying, competing in the Home Run Derby has always been a dream of mine. Can't wait to make it happen next week in Atlanta. See you there.
I can't
we will
wait to
see
watch.
you, no doubt.
He was one of the guys that I generally don't pull for teams, like Mississippi State and their players too much, being an Ole Miss guy. But I love watching that guy hit, even though he was a killer for Ole Miss like Jake Mangum was. But he was one of those guys that just hit bombs before it seemed that the game was shifting to the home run. Rooker was just hitting them everywhere, so big fan of his. I can't wait to see him in the All-Star game in the Home Run Derby, though. Wow, that's going to be really cool.
He's with the A's organization. He's got 20 home runs at the break, on pace for his third consecutive 30-home run season. Since the start of 2023, 87 home runs, ninth most in the majors. The other participants in the Home Run Derby, Cal Raleigh for Seattle. He's young and great. 38 home runs this year for him. James Wood from the Nationals, he's got 24 bombs. The Pirates, O'Neal Cruz. The Rays, Junior Caminero. Braves right fielder Ronald Acuna Jr., he obviously will be the crowd favorite, and if he gets it going, maybe hard to beat. So really cool. Oakland's got a pretty good history of guys in the All-Star game, and particularly the Home Run Derby. But it's been a while. Rooker the first since Matt Olson in 2021. All time, though, you got Jose Canseco, who did it twice. Mark McGwire, who participated in 5 home run derbies. Jason Giambi in 2001. Yoenis Cespedes in 2013 and 2014. McGwire won it in 92, and Cespedes won it both times he was in it. You want to watch that? It's on television tonight, 7 o'clock Central Time on Fox from Atlanta.
Hey, was there a better tandem, though, than the Bash Brothers?
The Bash Brothers.
Biggest
McGwire
forearms
Canseco.
ever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. World number 1 Yannick Sinner beat Carlos Alvarez in 4 sets yesterday to win his first Wimbledon title and the 4th Grand Slam title of his career. The Italian gained revenge over Alcaraz after his agonizing defeat in last month's French Open final. That's when Sinner had 3 different match points before ultimately losing in 5 sets. Alcaraz was trying to become only the 5th man in the Open era to win Wimbledon 3 years in a row, but after taking the first set, he was simply outplayed the rest of the way. It's the first time Sinner has beaten Alcaraz in their past 6 meetings. The all-time lead in these head-to-head matchups, 8-5 for Alcaraz. They are now 1-1 in Slam finals against each other and have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. This may be a rivalry that is fun to watch for a long time going forward. You've seen a few of those in recent years, and then you go back and you remember some of the great rivalries in tennis. But this Sinner-Alcaraz rivalry may be a lot of fun for the next decade or so. And, Lance, one more for you. Here you go. You ready?
Yeah.
I know you're ready.
What you got?
Cleveland Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins was arrested on a domestic violence and battery charge in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on Saturday.
Goodness gracious. Come on.
21-year-old Judkins had his initial court appearance Sunday morning. His bond was set at $2,500. The charge is described as touch or strike, battery, domestic violence. According to arrest records, it is a misdemeanor. He has actually not signed his rookie contract yet, was holding out for more guaranteed money. I don't know that this is the bargaining chip that he was hoping for.
Yeah, doubtful.
Those are your sports headlines this morning, brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort. Pearl River Resort, home of the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, 2 18-hole championship courses, the Oaks and the Azaleas. To book your tee time, go online to DancingRabbitGolf.com. That's DancingRabbitGolf.com, part of Pearl River Resort. Quick lottery update for you. Coming up next, it's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass.
Your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Welcome again. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming at supertalk.fm, SuperTalk TV, of course on your SuperTalk Mississippi radio stations. Glad to be with you. We just doing our normal radio show, but from a different place at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia. Lance, I will tell you, there are a lot of radio shows from all over the Southeast that are here. And podcasts, and they've kind of changed the name of this from Radio Row, which it was forever, to Digital Drive. You know, we got to make everybody feel included. So the non-traditional radio, but digital instead, folks have a place here, and they're welcome as well. There are there's some really, really talented people here, like people that do a great job that understand radio and television, like the whole thing, like really good at their jobs. But then in addition to that, you also have the caricature of, like, big radio TV voice guy. So if it feels like you're listening to a radio show in addition to this one, it's because there's a guy about 20 feet from I am who it's as if he doesn't understand that he's got a microphone on. It's like he thinks he has to yell all the way back to his hometown to be heard. Like without any amplification, so it is something.
It blows my mind at how good.
A little over the top.
It really does blow my mind though at how good all you guys are on the sports side. The commentary and being able to glue it all together. It is a work of art. There's some immensely talented people in that field, and I'm sure you'll have a plethora of them there, during the week. But it kind of blows my mind at how smooth and clean everybody is. I feel like I just hammer through and kind of stumble through stuff, but I don't know, man. But you guys are really good at it. I have to say that
you are selling yourself short. You are outstanding.
Oh, I appreciate that.
We are glad to be with you this morning. Give you a quick lottery update. Lotto America, no jackpot winner. Value tonight, jackpot tonight, $2.75 million. Powerball is growing. Estimated jackpot now $248 million, or said differently, almost $250 million.
That sounds
$112 million. Yeah, doesn't it sound better that way? Yeah. It's like, hey, how much money have you got? $250 million. Holy cow! How much have you got? $250 million.
Yeah, I'll take the $250 million.
Yeah, give me the $250 million. You keep that $250 million. Mega Millions up to $90 million after no jackpot winner on Friday night. Cash value there is just shy of $40 million. Got a few winners to tell you about. In June, a record-breaking $1.2 million jackpot was hit in Columbus, and then just days later, another Columbus player scored $52,000. That was in the Mississippi Match 5 jackpot. It's now up to $548,000. Will your hometown be next? Don't miss your chance. Mississippi Match 5 is the only in-state jackpot game, and it draws nightly at 9:30 p.m. Get your tickets now from any Mississippi lottery retailer and get in on the action. Congratulations to a Meridian woman, a $10,000 scratch-off winner on a ticket from King City in Meridian. That was on a $5 Blazing Hot Bucks. So congrats. It's got to feel good.
Yeah.
I never had I don't know. I'm not a regular scratch-off player. I'm trying to think what the most I've ever won on one is. Do you remember for you?
Yeah, zero. I've never won anything on them. So.
Well, you've never won a single dollar on a scratch-off.
No. I don't play that often. But,
I don't either.
But no, I've never won. I'm not one of those types that gets lucky and gets a bunch of money in my pocket like that. So. But I commend those.
I don't think I've ever collected any money.
Yeah.
This year the kids had some scratch-offs in their stockings, and Frances had one where she won $4, and I think the ticket's in a pile in the laundry room. I haven't even won
$4. Yeah, I haven't even won $4. So yeah. So yeah.
A couple of times I have, and I just handed it back to him. I was like, "Can I have more tickets?"
Let me reinvest the proceeds here.
We're not playing for the $2 game here, but. Be sure to check that out.
Hey, you got to spend money to make money, right?
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. That and the first million is the hardest.
Yeah, well, no doubt. Yeah, I haven't reached. Cumulatively, I'm not even there yet. So,
Andy Gipson, the Agriculture and Commerce Commissioner in Mississippi, going to join us at 7:20 this morning. Promised you last week that we would reach out to get him on. We heard The story from Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture at the national level, federal Secretary of Agriculture, in conjunction with some of those governors, including Sarah Huckabee Sanders out of Arkansas. This was last week, right, when that press conference happened, and one of the things that they talked about was foreign investors coming in, foreign nationals coming in and buying up farmland in Mississippi. We're going to talk to Andy Gipson about that because it is happening in the state of Mississippi, whether it's folks from China, folks from South America. Is there a scenario where you can ban it? Is there a scenario where it can be clawed back, like Sarah Huckabee Sanders was talking about last week? And what does that look like? I know that that Scott, filling in a couple of weeks ago, had a chance to visit with Andy Gipson. I have not talked to him since he has announced his candidacy for governor. Man, he has got a long runway. I'm going to ask him why he announced so early in the process. Michael Borkey going to join me here in the 8 o'clock hour, one of the hosts on SportsTalk Mississippi. Ole Miss is up today, and so we will preview the Rebels, and also J.T. Mitchell will be by a little bit later on. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. 1 hour in the books. News is next.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Good morning, everybody. Time to wake up.
Time to shine! Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome to the 7 o'clock hour. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Thanks for joining us as we broadcast live from Atlanta. And the College Football Hall of Fame SEC Media Days is happening this week. The boys will be neck deep in coverage of SEC football for the next 4 days and really beyond. Here at SEC Media Days, we're just hanging out in the mornings, and then I'll be with Borkey and Haydad this afternoon as well for Sports Talk Mississippi. But glad to be with you today as we roll into the start of a new week, the 14th day of July. We are almost the halfway point of July. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. Appreciate you being us. This hour of the show brought to you by MWG Employer Services. Running a business is tough, and if you're struggling with HR, benefits, and payroll, you're not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They provide a full range of employer services plus a custom plan that fits you. Give them a call today, 601-206-7966, or go to MWGEmployerServices.com. The C Spire text line is open to you, 601-879-4395. That's the number. The best teams know how to get even better. That's why C Spire constantly enhances their wireless, fiber, internet, and business solutions for you. Visit them online at cspire.com today. C Spire, inspired by you. See that note we got from Isabella just a little while ago? Long-time listener on SuperTalk Mississippi. Says, good morning to two of the best radio hosts on radio. Thank you for that. Listening in from Green River, Wyoming.
I love it.
We got to see what the weather is in Green River, Wyoming.
I'm in process of that already, so, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. 62 degrees this morning. That's going to be warm. It's going to be 90 degrees there today.
What a beautiful place, too. Goodness.
Yeah, man. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
Kind of looks like foothills. Green River
exactly.
in Wyoming, major river flowing 730 miles, main tributary of the Colorado.
Yeah, and you got Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it does.
Due South, Big Lake, man.
And it's 90, but the humidity is going to be lower when you're talking about mountainous area like that, so a little more doable. Thanks for the note, Isabella. Always good to hear from you. We could do that. Oh, yeah. What if we started a new thing? If you happen to be listening while you are traveling, whether it's for work or it's for vacation, fun, some combination of the two, shoot us a picture of where you are and let us know where you're listening. We'd love to say thanks to you for taking us on the go. You can do that with the app. Sorry, I was reading a message as I was trying to talk. The SuperTalk Mississippi app, free, and you can take it wherever you go. Somebody said, Richard talking conservative topics today in a big blue city. Yeah. Stacey Abrams, not scheduled to be my guest today.
Oh, dang.
Not at all. Thomas says it's a dry heat. That's what we old folks used to say. Well, I recognize that, but I mean, normally the dry heat is reserved for when you're talking about Arizona and it's like 112. You're like, well, it's 112, but it's a dry heat. Hey, that's still hot. But if it's 90 and you got low humidity, really not all that bad. Not all that bad. So it appears as if the President of the United States has had his fill of Vladimir Putin. And while it may have taken him a little bit longer than most, it seems as if he has reached that point. The United States announced that it will be shipping Patriot air defense missiles to Ukraine in its fight against Russia because Putin, quote, talks nice, but then bombs everybody in the evening. Trump was great. He was standing out on the tarmac about to get on a plane. He talks so beautifully. Everything's so good. And then he bombs everybody at night. Yeah. Trump said yesterday that he wouldn't get into specifics about how many missiles we were sending, but reassured American citizens that the European Union would pick up the tab and reimburse the United States for the associated costs. Yeah, that's one of the things from the NATO summit that a lot of people did talk about. I don't think we talked a lot about last week. Lance, was the fact that even going back to his first presidency, you remember Trump talking about, hey, we are footing the bill for NATO, we being the United States, and the rest of the world's not paying their fair share. And it was like down in the 1% of GDP range. And Trump was content to try to get that, hey, they've got to be in the 2, 3, 4% range across the board. With the exception of Spain, all of the NATO countries are now contributing 5% of their individual GDPs to the general fund of NATO, which takes a lot of pressure off the United States. And even here, when Trump says we're sending missiles, he's like, yeah, but we're not paying for all of them. Not the way we've done it in the past. It's not we're sending all the missiles with no price tag on them. There is a price tag on them, and the European Union is they're going to be the ones with the credit card at the checkout line. Trump's frustration with Putin has grown more and more recently as that his efforts to broker a peace deal have been derailed. Says a lot of people are dying and it should end. We get a lot of BS thrown at us by Putin, and if you want to know the truth, he's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless. Now you got Zelensky, who, I mean, he's not a great guy either, but he's trying to hold on to a presidency and defend a country that was invaded, and he's kind of over his skis. I mean, he was a comedian that was elected president, and so he's kind of fighting for that. And, what do the people of Ukraine think of Volodymyr Zelensky? I don't know. But they all hate Putin, and he is fighting for them. And Zelensky has asked for more defensive missile capabilities to fend off a daily barrage that has gotten worse as of late. 4 major assaults in the month of July from Russia. 13 Ukrainian citizens who were civilians were killed on Saturday when Russia unleashed hundreds of drones and missiles, including the kamikaze drones. Now, why, if we're just connecting events and trying to make them all make sense, why was the deal in Iran important? The bombing of the nuclear sites in Iran. And the stripping away of Iranian military capabilities as kind of a subset. Right, we know the direct threat was Israel, but it's funny how the geopolitical stuff has got tentacles. So, Lance, to me, this is one of the fascinating tentacles. Iran has been supplying weapons and missiles and drones to Russia in their fight against Ukraine. And so the combination of the Americans and the Israelis, with all the surgical strikes on all the military installations in Iran, has slowed Iran's ability to provide Russia and Putin with some of the military capabilities that they need. And clearly Russia wouldn't be buying munitions from Iran if they had plenty on their own. The fascinating thing to me about this Russia-Ukraine deal is, why has Russia not been able to finish off Ukraine? Do they want to?
Well, I mean, what did it take 2 years for Ukraine to be able to strike into Russia? So, I mean, I don't know if the chess game that was being played for 2 years is an honest one. When you tie the country of Ukraine's ability to attack Russia behind their back, you tie the hands back, and all of a sudden they're able to do that. I mean,
well, it was like, we'll let you defend yourselves and we'll help you defend yourself, but we're not going to provide you offensive capabilities. And so it's like they were, just kind of jab, like in the middle and just jabbing. They couldn't try to throw a haymaker, and then they got to the point where they could throw a bigger punch, and it's like, oh. But even in that defensive posture, for 2+ years, Russia couldn't finish them. And I guess that, again, that's my question. Did Russia want to finish them, or did they want it to just be this death by 1,000 paper cuts thing?
Well, I think that's an extremely dangerous strategy if you look at kind of the way the United States dealt with Vietnam for many years. So if you try that, I mean, if you're not going to go in for the win, then you might as well not do it. And if that was the goal, was to sit there and bleed Ukraine dry, it seems to not be having the effect they thought. And generally that's the case.
When it comes to international conflict and war, you've got to either be 100% all in or just stay out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, it's all in vain, right? You're allowing citizens of your country who have vowed to defend your country at home and abroad to die in vain. I mean, that's why the bombing run that the United States was involved with Iran was so successful. Not a bullet fired on those planes, no American lives lost, and completely invested in the success of that operation. Take a time out. The Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce, Andy Gipson, joins us next. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. We're back right after this.
You got to know she's a sensitive guy.
From the Venable Glass.
Start your day right.
Good morning, America. How are you?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
I was only 17 back then, but it seems like I knew more than I do now. I can't say he didn't tell me this city life's a
Welcome again. It is Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Thank you for being with us. We broadcast live today from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. This afternoon, SportsTalk Mississippi will be here and all week for coverage of SEC football media days. But Mornings with Richard Cross rolls on just from a different location. We are joined now by the Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce in the great state of Mississippi, Commissioner Andy Gipson. Mr. Commissioner, good morning.
Good morning to you, Richard, and it's exciting to see you out there in Atlanta, and football season right around the corner. Thanks for having me on this morning.
I appreciate very much. I've been anxious to visit with you since the press conference that we heard from Brooke Rollins last week. The Secretary of Agriculture at the federal level, with an announcement of kind of a 7-point plan to help farms, and really the focus was on national security. She talked about one thing in particular, and that was, at least in that press conference, the investment that foreign adversaries are making into farmland in the United States. We know that we're not immune to that in Mississippi. Arkansas has been one of the leaders with Sarah Huckabee Sanders talking about Arkansas not only not selling land to Chinese nationals anymore, but clawing back some of the land that has previously been sold. And to be honest, that's the part where I get confused. I don't understand exactly how that part of it works. So Maybe we need to pick this apart kind of layer by layer. This is something that you've talked about in the past. You and I visited about this in the past. How big a deal is it in Mississippi?
Richard, it's a huge deal, and I can't overemphasize what a big deal this is. When you consider that, these solar farms that are coming in here, taking up huge thousands and thousands of acre tracts of our farmland, many of them, if not most of them, have Chinese connections, and recently the FBI discovered that they had Chinese spyware implanted in these solar panels. This is a huge issue for our national security, and it is in Mississippi as well. Now, I was very aware and very excited about this farm security plan that Secretary Rollins has rolled out. And make no mistake about it, this is coming direct from President Donald Trump. He understands this issue, and he's intent on doing something about it. Now, since 1978, we've had an Agricultural Foreign Investment Disclosure Act at the federal level. Every year, we get the report at our Department of Ag. I've shared it with our legislature year after year, the last 2 or 3 years. And in Mississippi, you've got, 1 million acres or more now owned by foreign countries or companies controlled by foreign countries. That's the information that's out there. It's a totally voluntary system. So we don't know what we don't know, but we do know that those who are voluntarily reporting, in Mississippi, for example, you got 1 million acres of land that is now controlled by foreign interests. And that includes, in some cases, our enemies. The legislature passed a law that was intended to make it better, but it left some loopholes in there. For example, even China now can own up to 49% of any land in Mississippi under our existing law. Iran could, North Korea. So they could form an LLC, have a partner, a silent partner, or they can be a silent partner. And that's part of the trouble with this federal law. Because it's voluntary and because there's a shell game going on forming LLCs that have, foreign interests layer after layer down below, nobody really knows how much these foreign entities are controlling or owning. But what we do know is it's only growing. It's been getting out of control. We've gone in Mississippi from, 600,000 acres to 1 million or more. I'm going to be getting that December report, and I'll make sure you get a copy of it to show you how much has been bought in the last year. And it's only growing. So back when President Trump took office, and Secretary Rollins was sworn in, I became a member of what's called the America First Policy Institute Council of Ag Commissioners. And it's myself and 11 other conservative agriculture commissioners, ag secretaries around the country. And we told them, and they've been working very closely with us on this important issue. It's a huge issue, and that's why I was proud last week to sign that letter of support. And we look forward to working with them to tighten this up. Now, the clawback is interesting because Arkansas.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm struggling with. If there is a fair transaction in which it has been executed properly and money has changed hands, I don't understand how you say to the entity that bought it, hey, we're going to have to we're taking that back. Well, and then what happens to the money?
Well, here's what Arkansas did. Arkansas passed a law. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the first governor to actually step in and enforce the law. And their law provides for a divestment. So it says, foreign enemies. For example, I think everybody can agree, China, Iran, Russia, North Korea, not only should they not own 1 acre of our soil, they shouldn't own a fraction of an acre. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders said that in this law, and the legislature passed it in Arkansas, that if they were to acquire a prohibited interest in land, that they had to divest that. They had to sell it, put it on the market, and sell it within 2 years. That is happening right now in the state of Arkansas. So this is It's a test case. There's a lawsuit about it. I know there's a lot of litigation. These folks, China has a lot deep pockets, and they're very invested in the solar farms and solar panels that are a threat to, in my view, our food security, our farm security as well. So they're going to fight this, but it is happening in Arkansas, and it can happen in Mississippi. So I think the key we need to focus on is that it's our enemy, adversary countries, that we just don't want to have any ownership of any land in our state. You've got countries like the Netherlands that have bought up huge tracts of land. Like in Attala County, I think I'm correct to say a majority of the land held there in Attala County is held by some investment fund controlled by the Netherlands in Europe. They're buying up, timberland and so forth. So you got situations like that. But I think we have to, first of all, stop the bleeding. We have to stop this encroachment on our soil from these foreign interests that are powerful, that are our enemies. And I was in Tennessee a couple of weeks ago and met with Senator Marsha Blackburn, and her interest in it is a Chinese company in Tennessee, right up the road, buying a huge tract of land right next to a huge military base there. That's not only a matter of food security, that's a matter of national security. And we got to get a handle on this, and it's one of the issues I'm passionate about. I think that, the legislature took some baby steps to help with this, but there's definitely more that needs to be done. I think Arkansas is the one to watch, and we'll learn how it all plays out.
Well, Commissioner Andy Gipson visiting with us. To me, there is a complicating factor in this discussion. If you are a conservative, and obviously you are a conservative, then you are generally pro-landowner rights. Right?
Yep.
You say, okay, you own property, you should be able to do what you want with your property. Looks like we've got legislation that the president is interested in where they may do away with some capital gains tax associated with owning property. But I guess here's what I'm getting at. If you're pro-landowner rights, how do you say to somebody who has land to sell? Maybe it's one of our Mississippi farmers who's been in the business for 4 or 5 or 10 decades. And they've gotten to the point where they're dealing with these rising costs, and they say, it's time to get out. Mm-hmm. How do you tell somebody you can't take the best offer financially for your land as a payoff for what you've done for all these years?
Well, it is a balancing act. Absolutely. We have to always come down on, the fact is it is the farmer's decision, it's the landowner's decision. But in the same way you have zoning regulations, if you own land in a city or in a county, the government has a role to play in terms of how that land is used, how it can be developed, and that is the law of the land. This is no different than that, with one added emphasis. In our own state constitution, it says that the legislature may regulate or prohibit the owning of any land by foreign interests, by foreign aliens. So that's a matter that's ingrained in our Constitution at the state level. And as you see at the federal level, it's a matter that our president's taken very seriously. We have to find the right balance. There is a way to find that balance. And I'm certainly not the smartest person on this subject, on this issue. I just know it's a big issue, and I think we need to tackle it. Working with our president, working with Secretary Rollins, we're going to make a big effort to strengthen the disclosures. Now she's created a portal where you can report the foreign entities buying up land. I talked to a farmer in the Delta the other day. He wanted to buy his neighbor's farm. It was going up for sale. Before he could even make an offer on it, some investment company that nobody's ever heard of out of New York City swoops in and offers, 3 or 4 times what its fair market value is. Guess what? It's going to turn out to be a foreign interest. They want to buy our land. They want to control our land. And for goodness sake, we fought a war in this country to have the right to call our soil American soil, and here we are selling it off to the highest bidder. I think that's a challenge not only for our food supply, our food security, farm security, as Secretary Rollins says, it's a challenge for our national security, and we better get a handle on it.
Coming up on a break, we're going to continue the conversation with Andy Gipson, the Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce in Mississippi. We're going to talk not just about the state fair in Mississippi, but how about the big fair?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the big fair that we've got coming up for the nation's 250th birthday next year. Quickly, but we've got 30 seconds to the break. When we talk about foreign land ownership, at one point you said foreign adversaries. Is there a difference, foreign adversaries versus just foreign nationals owning land? Because I'm thinking about all the Argentinians who've bought land in Mississippi.
There is because we'll talk about that on the other side.
All right, we'll do that coming up next. More with Commissioner Andy Gipson after this. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Seabrook Pain Doctor.
This segment of Mornings with Richard Cross is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Good morning. Good morning to you there.
Okay, up and at 'em. Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Good, give me 5 this morning.
Now, wait, Lance, is that track one from the newly released Andy Gipson?
That's Andy's newly released gospel album right there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Richard Cross and Department of Agriculture and Commerce Commissioner Andy Gipson with us in studio this morning. We're glad to be with you. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. Commissioner, I did you the unfair thing of asking a question when you had no time to answer it going into the break. So
let me get back to that.
So, if we need to bounce back to that just for a second, the difference in foreign nationals owning land and foreign adversaries owning land.
That's right. Interests that are controlled by our foreign enemies. That is the focus of the Trump administration. I can tell you it's the focus of Donald J. Trump. It's the focus of Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, any other countries of concern out there. That's the focus. And so we don't want to get that confused with the right of people to come here legally and to become a landowner. That's a wonderful thing. I just attended a naturalization service for 80 people that were sworn in by Judge Dan Jordan the other day. And so that's a beautiful thing. We're talking about foreign adversaries, foreign countries who are controlling interest in our land, and that's what we got to put a stop to.
You have not exactly kept it a secret that you were toying with the idea of running for governor in Mississippi. You and I talked about that. I think it was maybe last October or sometime in the winter. But you officially announced that a few weeks ago. Why at this point? Why so early?
Well, it was June the 11th, 2025. I've been praying about this for a couple of years. I think I told you I've been praying about it. Everybody who's asked me around the state, I told them I'm praying about it. And I can tell you, having traveled the whole state of Mississippi for a long time, since 2018 when I first started running for Ag Commissioner, I have had, it's not an exaggeration to say thousands, 30,000, 40,000 people asked me to run for governor. Every one of them I've told I'm praying for it. And I took 2 days of my life in the month of May, visited my son out in Montana. He's an assistant ranch foreman on a 26,000-acre ranch, beautiful part of the country. Went up on a mountain.
Who's got it better than him?
Yeah, he's living in modern-day Yellowstone, only he's rounding up cows on a four-wheeler, not a horse. And I said, son, I'm coming to visit you. Your mom and I are. And I took 2 days and went on a mountain, literally, to pray about this, me and the good Lord. And after a season of prayer, I felt compelled to do it, and it's as if the Lord told me to do it and do it now. So when I came back, that's what I've done, and I have no regrets. I have had nothing but positive support. I've got a support network out here in Mississippi that you would naturally think about as Ag Commissioner, but my goal is to run this campaign the way I've always run campaigns, and that is grassroots, building a grassroots team. We're doing that now.
Sure.
We're getting around the state. My calendar's booked up with speaking engagements all the way through next year. Next year, 26, is going to be a situation of our Senate race. Our great Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith is going to be up for re-election, and that's going to consume a lot of the interest and emphasis, I think. But I felt led to do it. I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the office of governor because I want to make a positive difference, a conservative difference for the future of this state. That is why I'm doing it. It's why I feel compelled to do it, and I think it's why a lot of people are supporting my effort to do that.
I know you keep up with what people are talking about and what people are saying, and there have been some interesting conversations that I've had with folks who have said, count Andy Gipson out of an election at your own peril. But because of your brand, if you will, of politics, it's more down home. It's a little more folksy. You talk in a way that people in Mississippi understand, and I think believe. I feel like it's genuine. There are people, though, that have said to me, but will he have the ability to raise enough money? And unfortunately, that's part of the game or part of the process. You've got to be able to raise a lot of money. This may be the most expensive governor's race in the history of the state of Mississippi. It likely will be. So about that question or criticism, if you want to call that, can you raise enough money to pull this off?
Well, I'm raising money right now. Money's coming in, and big amounts of money are coming in this year. I've had a lot of people who've been waiting for me to make this announcement who said, if you run, I will contribute. I had one man call and give me $25,000 over the phone. Another man, $10,000 over the phone. And so there's a conservative movement out here in Mississippi. People are ready for us to get back to our true conservative roots, and I think I know that's my base. And when you say you hope I'm genuine, I'm telling you I'm genuine when I say I really believe that God is calling me to do this to make a positive difference for the future of this state. And if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be doing it. So, yes, we're raising money, and 3 things we need: money, money, and money. You can give to Gipson for governor, and we'll be taking those checks. I do have several fundraisers across the state that are lined up both this year and next year, and we'll be coming to an area near you. I'll be in New Albany August the 5th, and in Pontotoc in September, and be in Ripley next week, as a matter of fact, North Mississippi. So I'm getting a lot of invitations, and everywhere I go, people say, will you sing us a song? And I sing them a song or two.
There you go. I don't know if we got time for it today. I want you to sing for us on the radio at some point, but, but maybe not today.
I will.
And not today, because I want to ask you about part of your job that you've still got to fulfill while also running for governor going forward. One big piece of the agriculture commissioner's job is the state fair in Mississippi, and there are going to be more eyes on not only Mississippi State Fair but the entire country's state fairs this coming fall because of the America 250 celebration. You sent me a release that has come from the Department of Agriculture and Brooke Rollins' office, and a request for America 250 to be the theme for all 50 states' state fairs, even those that don't have them. They're trying to get them to put one together.
That's right.
What is the state fair in Mississippi going to look like this year? It's always been a patriotic event. How are you going to ramp that up?
The October Mississippi State Fair is going to be the most patriotic state fair in the history of Mississippi and in the history of the United States of America. It's the vision of our president. He announced this at his speech in Iowa, on the Iowa State Fairgrounds last week, July 3rd. That the state fairs of America will be the epicenter of patriotic celebration. I attended Governor Reeves' announcement of America 250 here in Mississippi the other day. Excited to work with him and with all the America 250 team. But we've already got some great things planned. Our state fair is October 2nd through 13th, and what the president has challenged us to do is to have a contest among all the states who can have the most patriotic state fair. And I'm telling you, Mississippi can win this thing. We will win it. And there's a reason why. Not only are we the most patriotic people, and we want to come together to support our beloved country, 250 years of celebration, we got more time to plan it than anybody else because we're about the last state fair in America. So you got folks in Iowa who are kicking it off next month, and then around the Midwest, August, and some in September. Some state fairs are already going on. We have till October 2nd to kick ours off, so we can watch everything they're doing, and we can one-up them. I've already booked Lee Greenwood. He'll be here live and in concert.
Really?
Yes, I have. The last Monday of the state fair, which is Columbus Day, October the 13th. I'll introduce him on stage. Maybe I'll sing a song or two with him. But we're going to have.
I was going to ask, are you going to stay on stage with him?
Yes, sir. Going to have the biggest fireworks show you've ever seen. And a lot of people, this is just getting out now, but I've had a lot of donors and supporters say, what can we do to win this contest? And regardless of whether we win or not, here's the beautiful thing. The week of July 4th, 2026, the president is hosting a 50-state Great American Fair on the National Mall, and Mississippi will be there. I'll be representing the great state of Mississippi. And I told our folks, get ready. We're taking the biscuit booth to Washington, D.C. in 2026. It's going to be great. And,
I was wondering which part of the state fair. I mean, you wouldn't think that you could necessarily take the livestock portion to the National Mall. Well, you can't really take a Ferris wheel. Bring your own Ferris wheel. So it's the biscuit booth that's going to make the trip.
Well, that's one piece of it. We got a whole lot. They're still putting together the logistics, how big a space we're going to have, but we're going to bring a taste of the Mississippi State Fair to Washington, D.C., and whoever wins the most patriotic fair of 2025 is going to be recognized by President Donald J. Trump. And I know we're going to do our part in Mississippi to make our president proud. I've already got military parades lined up with the National Guard and with other agencies of military for recruiting purposes. They want to use this as a recruiting avenue for the services, armed services. A lot of exciting things. A vision of many different types of parades every day through the state fair. Horse and wagon, like our Dixie National Parade. Marching bands from all over the state. It's going to be a wonderful October 2nd through 13th. You can get your tickets now at msstatefair.com. We're going to wrap the Mississippi State Fair in red, white, and blue, and we're going to bring this prize home to the people of Mississippi.
Andy Gipson, the Ag Commissioner, time out with us this morning. Just curious if you've heard any whispers at the federal level about being any closer to a farm bill.
Yes, actually, there were important pieces, very crucial pieces of the farm bill that were put into OBBB. And right now, the appropriators are working on some key provisions that didn't make it in that, but are going to be standalone provisions. They're piecing a farm bill together, like Johnny Cash sang, one piece at a time. We're going to get it done. We'll take what we can get. They need to get it done now. Thank you all. God bless you.
Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce in the great state of Mississippi. Always a pleasure, always candid. Andy Gipson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Richard. God bless you. We'll see y'all at the State Fair.
We look forward to it.
That's my wife singing a duet with me on the radio right there. We'll see y'all at the Neshoba County Fair, July the 30th, Wednesday.
Mornings with Richard Cross rolls on after this.
Our rocking years, rocking chairs, rocking babies, rock-a-bye, rock of ages. Side by side, we'll be together always.
From the Venable Glass.
Rise and shine.
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross.
Nice early morning surprise.
On SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Well, I won't back down. Oh, I won't back down. You could stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. Gonna stand.
What do you think the chances are, as I come to you from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia, Lance, what do you think the chances are that we could get the folks at the University of Florida to use Andy Gipson's version of Won't Back Down between the third and fourth quarters of a football game?
Hey, I'm in. Whatever it takes. I've got some great.
You've seen that before?
No. I mean, I know it, but I'm not. I'm not the most familiar with that.
Yeah, so you know how pretty much every college football team has some sort of a tradition that they have, like between the end of the third and the start of the fourth quarter, right? Mississippi State, although they kind of eschewed that tradition for a little while, they did the "Don't Stop Believing" thing where they had the lights, on the phones and the cowbell shaking. Ole Miss, for the longest time, they've kind of changed things up to pep it up a little bit. They played "I Saw the Light," the old Hank Williams Sr. song. The band did. It gets progressively faster as you go through it, and people clapped along. I've tried to kind of ramp it up a little. Most everybody's got something that is tied to a light show. When Tom Petty died a few years ago, as a tribute, the University of Florida, at the end of the third quarter, before the start of the fourth quarter, they played "Won't Back Down," and it caught on immediately. Like the entire student section sang the whole chorus, and it was nuts. And so now they do that at every game. And I was just thinking, what would happen if you plugged in Andy Gipson's version of "Won't Back Down" instead of Tom Petty and the Heartbreak?
I'm in for Andy Gipson on that. Yeah, I mean,
give it a shot.
Yeah, he's got a great voice, really. As I listened to go through it, we were just visiting, and he said the duet with his wife was his favorite, and he had to kind of drag her up there to do it. She wasn't quite committed. And I said, "What's your next favorite song on the album?" And he said, "Don't Back Down." I'm not that's my walkout song. But he's got some great ones on there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to digging through it. But I'm all for promoting the AG as Florida's back half of the game inspirational. Yeah, let's do it.
There you go. Somebody is that was as big a deal as Lance in college baseball signed a lot of autographs. And I'm assuming that at some point Lance said, I got a pitch with this hand. I don't know how many more of these autographs that I could sign. This Sharpie is about to wear me out. And probably Lance looked into the possibility of purchasing an auto pen.
I did.
That could sign all of those autographs for him, making them look real. You plug the Sharpie in the auto pen, you set the size. You got one size for jerseys and one size for baseballs. I'm assuming that you went through that process, so you understand the auto pen. And while it's real, it's not actually you signing. And so, is it authentic? To me, that's the question, right? Are the autographs that you sold, Lance, that were signed with an auto pen, are those authentic autographs or are they actually not? They don't actually pass the authenticity test.
I just had a stamp made back. I'm so old that we just use stamps. So but the auto pen, I would say no, it's not legitimate. Nor would be say stamping something if you didn't author it and you did not write out your signature. I don't believe it's an autograph.
If you were the actual person that stamped it, like if you took the rubber stamp, you hit the ink pad, and then you stamped it, I might give you credit for that. But if you didn't know, like you were not cognitively aware that somebody was taking your stamp, hitting that ink pad, and then putting it on important papers, or using that auto pen and signing for things that you probably needed to know are actually being signed for.
Well, that and the other side of the stamp was you had a ring that generally, if it was something that was considered a signature, there would be a ring that you would press down into wax, and that would create a seal. So you knew that the person who stamped it was the author and the one who sealed it. So, I don't like the auto pen. I think it's are we that lazy?
Yeah, just so we're clear here, this is not a report from Fox News. This is not a report from Charlie Kirk or Benny Johnson or Laura Loomer or any of the other, right-wing media MAGA outlets. This is a report from the old gray lady, from the New York Times, reporting that many of Joe Biden's pardons, including that of Dr. Fauci, my friend Brett Norsworthy just walked by. He was the first one that I ever called him Burning Bush Fauci. I thought, what a great nickname. We're signed by AutoPen and approved late at night by a White House aide. Listen to this excerpt from the New York Times article. The emails show that an aide to Mr. Siskel sent a draft summary of Mr. Biden's decisions at that meeting to an assistant to Mr. Zientz. Copying Mr. Siskel at 10:03 p.m., the assistant forwarded it to Mr. Reed and Mr. Zientz asking for their approval, and they sent a final version to Ms. Feldman, copying many meeting participants and aides at 10:28 p.m. 3 minutes later, Mr. Zientz hit reply all and wrote, I approve the use of the auto pen for the execution of all of the following pardons. Friends, that ain't okay. We'll be back. It's MRC.
Your home SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Are you thinking about retirement, or are you recently retired? Do you have a plan, or do you have a drawer full of statements? If your answer is the latter, then you're not retirement planning, you're retirement hoping. Risks and inflation are rising, and planning is critical now. At Element Wealth, our exclusive 360 process can create a strategy to help protect what you've worked so hard
to again, Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi. Appreciate you being with us to start the day and start the new week. Today, July 14th. It is also the start of SEC.
SuperTalk Outdoors with Ricky Matthews. Mondays at noon on the SuperTalk Mississippi app and always on your local SuperTalk station.
Coverage of SEC Media Days is presented by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at pearlriverresort.com for family fun, casino thrills, and live entertainment. Pearl River Resort is your place to go. Going to be a great week. Ole Miss is in Atlanta today. Mississippi State is in Atlanta on Wednesday. Borkey and Haydad and I will keep you up to date, though, with everything that is happening throughout the week. The C-Spire text line is open to you, 601-879-4395. 601-879-4395. We are glad to be with you this morning. So much good happening at C-Spire. If you are looking for the best in wireless, like nationwide 5G, C-Spire's got you covered. If you're looking for the best in home internet, fiber to the home, C-Spire has you covered. If you're looking for the best in business IT services, the team at C-Spire has you covered. They are Mississippi-based. They are Mississippi-anchored. They are not going anywhere. And when you call the support line, you know how sometimes you can't understand the person on the other end of the line? Good news is, on the support line for C-Spire, they speak Mississippi. They do. C-Spire. Inspired by you. Lance is in the studio. I'm Richard Cross. We are glad to be with you. And what do you think of conversation with Andy Gipson earlier this morning, Lance?
I always enjoy Andy Gipson's opinions, his perspective, his upbeat nature, his God-fearingness, and I always get a kick out of him. He's such a good guy, and we talked a little bit about the announcement, and he said, like you said, he prayed hard about it. He's a God-fearing man, and he takes those things extremely seriously. And I have faith that he knows what's best in the course for him, and this timing. He made it a point as well to state that next year is going to be a big year as far as the Senate races and all that, and it was just time. And I believe he wanted to get out ahead of all of that and give himself a chance to stabilize and be a figure and a leader, which he has shown he is. So it's always a trip to have him in. He's a wonderful personality, and again, just a great guy. So I always appreciate his candor and his honesty too. That's something that is always, to me, part of the character you get with Andy Gipson.
There's no doubt. There is, and look, Andy Gipson is genuine. We talked about that a little bit. And he said, you said you hope I'm genuine. He said, I'm genuine. I'm telling you that I am. I think what you see is what you get. But Andy Gipson is also a skilled politician.
Oh, yeah.
He has an ability to communicate a message to an electorate, to persuade people, because they feel like he is one of them. And that's going to serve him well in this race for governor. That, look, I am telling you, I am convinced that the 2027 gubernatorial race in Mississippi, I said it to him a second ago, it's going to be the most, there's no debate. It is going to be the most expensive gubernatorial race in the state of Mississippi's history, and it won't be close. But not only is it going to be expensive, it's going to be wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
And if you like a good no-holds-barred political brawl, even my buddy Brian Haydad, who cares it's going to feel to him more like a wrestling match. And so he's going to engage a little bit in the governor's race 3 years from now.
I think it's going to be absolutely one of the most fun races that we'll have seen in a long time here in Mississippi, with the skilled politicians and leaders that inevitably will throw their hat into the ring. He being one that literally threw the hat into the ring.
So Andy Gipson quite literally tossed a cowboy hat and said, "I'm in." Is the Attorney General going to jump in? Is the Lieutenant Governor going to jump in? Is the State Auditor going to jump in?
Well, and as we know, Brandon Presley
is the businessman from South Mississippi, Tommy Duff, going to jump in?
Now, I can assure you.
And then on the Democrat side, Brandon Presley, it sounds like he's going to make another run at this.
Yeah, and Brandon's tough. I've gotten to know Brandon over the years, and he is you're talking about a skilled politician, one that is great on the tree stump. He relates to people very well.
He's got one thing going against him, Lance.
Yeah, well, they got the D behind his name. That's right.
He's a Democrat. Yeah. And that's kind of a problem in Mississippi.
Yeah, he ran a good campaign, and again, I would expect that
he absolutely ran a good campaign.
Everything as far as resources will be put into his lap, along with his ability, which is nothing that you want to frown upon, to go out and raise money. And to, as Andy Gipson, a great grassroots politician, Brandon Presley, he's from Northeast Mississippi, Nettleton, former mayor, and a guy that is very skilled. So, yeah, from the left side, that D behind the name doesn't help, but with a candidate like him, you never know.
We get a message here, C-Spire text line, and I think this is important. This comes from Thomas. He says, let's hope Republicans can reconcile when the primary is over so that Brandon Presley doesn't win. Somebody said, watch for Brandon to switch parties. See, I can't handle that on Brandon Presley.
I don't see it.
He's too far down the road as a Democrat, pro-Democrat, Biden, Harris. You can't erase the memory of his support of Kamala Harris to be president of the United States.
Nope.
And so if he's like, I'm switching parties, I'm going to be like, no, I'm sorry, that's not allowed.
Yeah, well, I don't see it either. He is entrenched into the...
And it makes no sense.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. He's not going to win, he wouldn't win in a crowded Republican primary field. His best shot is for Republicans to bludgeon each other for 14 months and spend so much money that it just feels like there's donor fatigue, and he keeps the powder dry because there's nothing to do, like letting the Republicans fight amongst themselves other than just kind of be out there and do a different message.
You got a big midterm in there, so that will have a lot of inertia with what's going on here in the state as well. So if the national politics of the day stall out on the Republican side, it will open a door for the Democrats and the left to take seats all over the country in these midterms, and then you follow up with a huge race here in the state of Mississippi almost a year later. And so I don't have any idea how it's going to shake out. Yeah, I have no idea at this point how it's going to shake out. But I would give Brendan Presley a great probable chance if the Republicans fumble the ball around at the midterm.
Wait, a chance to win the governor?
Well, I mean, let's be realistic. I'm not saying that he's going to win it. I would say that if the Republicans do not do their job over the next year and a half, I would not put it past voters to have fatigue and look at other options. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he has a chance.
But I think we're conflating federal and state, though.
I think they have a lot to do, though. If you look at midterms and the Republicans do not do what they promised they were going to do and are infighting and all this, then I think it opens the door for a Democrat challenger to be taken extremely seriously. Because
in the governor's race.
Yeah, in the governor's race, because federal money, money from all over the country will be flooding in. And as Andy Gipson said, money, money, money. I mean, you know what wins campaigns. You're not going to be over sitting on the sidelines getting outspent 2-1 and winning races generally. So, unless you're Kamala Harris.
Yes. Although I was going to say Donald Trump was outspent about 2-1. Really fascinating book. I had a friend recommended to me that I just finished called Fight, and it's a recap of the 2024 campaign. Really, really fascinating peek behind the curtain in that one.
Well, and I worked in that.
Going back to the
I was going to say I worked in that gubernatorial race with Musgrove, who won it, and I just remember those days, and no one really thought that was going to happen, but it did.
The landscape has changed.
It has changed dramatically
in Mississippi.
It has, and federally, though, again, I think we've seen a grand change as well. But it should be one for the ages here. That's for sure.
Well, and here's the thing: at the federal level, the national level, Democrats are trying to decide what the message they are going to latch onto with Trump is. Right? Are they going to paint him as a pro-war after saying he wasn't going? We got to get out of wars. Well, the problem is that particular raid that they want to hang their hat on into Iran was wildly successful. I mean, and are they going to paint him as a warmonger when he has negotiated multiple peace deals? So that kind of rings hollow. Are they going to paint him on this Epstein stuff? Well, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe it's the Epstein stuff, which is really fascinating because Democrats have done everything they could to keep all of the Epstein material quiet for a really, really long time. And it's fascinating that the Epstein stuff may be the kind of thing that happens on a regular basis. We just know about it, which makes it feel really, really icky. And I'm talking about like larger national security related issues. The president of the United States, whoever the president is at a given time, says this doesn't really need to be out in the public. This is not in the benefit of the American public or the United States of America for all of this information to be out here. This one just happens to already be out there, but they're maybe having to treat it the same way. Michael Borkey joins me next at SEC Media Days.
It's time to switch on.
Mornings with Richard Cross. On SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Yeah!
Back with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. We are in Atlanta this week, SEC Media Days going on, and we're going to bring you one short conversation each day about what is happening at SEC Media Days. We're not going to give you an hour. We're not turning this into a sports show, but much like Paul did in the years preceding, we're going to try to give you a little bit of a peek into what is going on. And Michael Borkey, who is host of SportsTalk Mississippi in the afternoons from 3 to 6 right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, joins me. Good morning, friend.
Not a good morning.
Why is that?
Because I wake up, I work out, I take a shower, I'm all dressed, and I reach into my bag to put my belt on. The last thing I put on every day.
No belt?
It's not there. So I'm sitting here.
Do you need to borrow a belt?
Houston is going to try. We're going to see if I can fit into one of Houston's. If not, I went to the concierge.
Well, I've got a belt that will work for you because it's like that utility style belt. So as opposed to like just having holes punched in it, it's like a Patagonia technical belt.
I feel
so you can make that
sounds
work.
weird. I feel naked right now without one. But
I did that during basketball season this year.
Ooh.
I was at Missouri and I had a suit on and got dressed. I was like, I don't have a belt.
That's a look that people do, though.
Yeah, but I'm not one of those guys.
Get you a lariat rope. Go get you some lariat rope and cut it and do a Jethro. And you'll be good.
So I looked around the room for some string just to tie it up, but couldn't find anything. And I went to the concierge, and she was like, well, there's a mall like a few miles away. And I was like, that doesn't help me. And she goes, well, why don't you Uber one? Apparently, I can buy a belt on Uber, and somebody will bring it to me. Also not doing that. So
it's not a terrible idea, though.
It's not a bad. If Houston's doesn't work, I guess that's where I am. So I wasn't excited
I just told you I have a belt that will work for you, and I'm more than happy to loan it to you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right, so I have two options now. I'm good. Better now than I was 10 minutes ago.
All right.
Does it have Richard does it have Richard like stamped into it like you would make a belt back in like camp and stuff? That's the one you got to give him.
It does not. It actually does not. Today is the day that Ole Miss will be at SEC Media Days, and so Lane Kiffin and three of his players will kind of take center stage this afternoon. Borkey, what's the biggest storyline for Ole Miss coming into this 2025 season?
You ready for the most cop-out answer that you've ever heard? It's the quarterback. It's the most important position on the field, and that's all everybody talks about. But that is the biggest story, right? Is Austin Simmons at his age ready for everything that comes with being a starting quarterback in the SEC? But what's so interesting about him, I was just talking to somebody down the hall, he's 19 years old. He just turned 19. It's his third year in college football.
But has already graduated college.
He's already graduated college. So he's a fascinating story, really smart, obviously. So even though, yes, it's a quarterback making his first start in his first game, he's only 19 years old, he's a third-year college football player. But that is the most interesting story around Ole Miss, is Austin Simmons.
You know, there's so many people that, not just around Ole Miss, but nationally, that either saw the highlights of or saw that one drive against Georgia in which he was very calm and looked very much under control. There are people who have really closely watched the film and said, yeah, two of those throws were ill-advised, and he got really lucky on one of them, and another one was just an incredible throw and an incredible read. But is that enough? Like, there's a level of confidence you need to play quarterback and play it well in the SEC. And you see a lot of guys who, when they get their first opportunity, like the eyes are really, really big and it's all fast. I don't know that you get that with Austin Simmons, but was that one drive, did it build enough confidence that he can avoid some of the first-year starter jitters and mistakes that a lot of people have?
You would think so, right? Because once you've done something, getting to doing it again makes it easier, right? This is going to sound kind of crazy, but I think other things besides the Georgia drive have convinced me that he's going to be successful. Baseball. Again, I know it's weird because he's the quarterback. He's not the pitcher anymore, but a 17-year-old relief pitcher came in big spots in the SEC and was good. At no point did you think, ooh, he's not ready for this. I mean, right away, he was exceptional as a pitcher, as what should have been a high school junior. And that was nothing to him. And another indication is the fact that Jackson Dart had a full season as a starter at Ole Miss. And Lane Kiffin still went after a 4-year starter in the transfer portal to compete with him because he didn't think he was good enough at the quarterback position. Jackson Dart, of course, fights off Spencer Sanders and wins the job and becomes a first-round pick. Great story. They didn't even bother. They didn't try. I mean, they kind of looked at Bo Pribula, but they that wasn't really a thing. They tried, but not really. They didn't go after a starter. They didn't go after somebody to come compete with Austin Simmons. The guys they've added in the portal are definitely depth pieces, not competition. And so Lane Kiffin, the guy that looked at Jackson Dart for a year and was like, nope, I don't think I'm good enough at quarterback, didn't even bother trying with a guy that's never taken a start before.
Nathan says that he was about to say, do I need to DoorDash you a belt? And Lance pointed out that you can have them bring you some chicken nuggets and also finance it all.
Oh, that's right.
They pay it over time.
You can finance meals now. I don't know if that's a smart decision.
That is not sound financial advice.
Financial advice? Okay.
Dave Ramsey would not recommend financing your chicken nuggets.
Well, that's why I'm not a financial advisor anymore, because that's what I was giving people advice to do. Like, yeah, man, finance your pizza. You're good.
But in my house with
what's the time period for repayment of that?
Yeah, I guess
there's varying degrees.
Yeah.
Because when I took James to the soccer game in Nashville, we could finance our tickets, and it was like 3 months, 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I could finance tickets to a soccer game in which they lost 4-0. Hey, Dad, 4-0, not 4-0. Yeah, that's right.
I think you actually get rid of the 2 if you say nil. I think it becomes 4-0, not 4-2-0.
Ah, well.
I
only watch the Americans.
I think it would be a bad idea to finance anything that the money that you're financing, lasts longer than what you're buying in most cases. Bad idea.
I see.
Generally speaking.
I'm only a soccer fan when they got the American flag on their chest. Otherwise, I'm not interested.
I understand that. What about other storylines for SEC football? So this is like big picture stuff today. Greg Sankey, I think, is speaking right now in the room below where we are. SEC Media Days. Michael Borkey from SportsTalk Mississippi visiting with me. What are some of the overarching storylines?
I think Oklahoma might be the most interesting team in the SEC. And that sounds crazy, right? Because you have Arch Manning making his not first start, but being a starter for the first time at Texas. Mm-hmm. You've got all these quarterbacks getting replaced. But there is something about Oklahoma that I think that their volatility, they could end up being really good in 25, or they could be an atrocity. Like, I think the gap for Oklahoma's ceiling and floor is the biggest in the SEC. The new quarterback coming in, the Washington State transfer, they went ahead and brought his offensive coordinator and I believe running backs coach with him as well. They think he's super talented. Yeah. John Mateer, the quarterback, they think he's talented. They think he's got an incredibly high ceiling, but they said that about Jackson Arnold too. And he really struggled a year ago.
Well, and Auburn thinks that they've gotten what they want in Jackson Arnold leaving Oklahoma and going to the Plains.
Yeah. And he'll be here as a representative of Auburn, because that's how college football works these days. But I am very curious to hear from Brent Venables, of all people, absent, of course, the state of Mississippi, because he's taking over as defensive coordinator as well. He's done the head coach, no, I'm going to bear responsibility for one side of the ball thing, and he's really good at that. He's won national championships as a defensive coordinator.
Right.
So Oklahoma is the team that I'm the most interested in, with a league that features Texas and LSU and Georgia and, of course, our Mississippi schools.
Does Ole Miss's schedule in 2025 set up in a way that gives them a chance to have success? Do you like the way the schedule sets?
And especially, Richard, because last year, I think it was clear in hindsight that they got real fat and happy in the month of September a year ago, getting to beat up on lesser competition. That opportunity does not present itself this time around. It is Georgia State in the opener, and then you're in Lexington, right? So you don't have a month of, look at how good we are, we're killing these people, this is so easy. Because
Kentucky's not going to be any good, are they?
They weren't a year ago either.
What's your point?
But, the toss-up games, the opponents that you think are about on equal footing to Ole Miss, LSU, South Carolina, Florida, you get all those at home. And if you're looking for an opportunity to get back into the playoff discussion after losing all the guys that you lost, you couldn't really ask for a better schedule. Again, 8 home games. You got to play Tulane. That won't be easy, and that's right before the LSU game. So there's a look-ahead spot there, I suppose. But again, Florida, South Carolina, LSU, all in Oxford. you can't ask for a better setup.
SEC Media Days coverage begins this afternoon on Sports Talk Mississippi. SEC Media Days, the unofficial start to the college football season. Coverage on Sports Talk Mississippi is presented by Pearl River Resort. Visit them online at pearlriverresort.com. And brought to you in part by Trustmark Bank, Cannon Ford, Lincoln in Starkville, Cleveland and Pascagoula, Covington County Hospital, Mississippi Farm Bureau, and Genteel Apparel. We'll take a timeout. Thank you, Michael Borkey, for stopping by.
Of course. Anytime.
I think I'll sit down with you guys this afternoon.
Yeah.
And maybe hang out for the rest of the week as well. Mornings with Richard Cross. JT Mitchell from the SuperTalk News Team joins us. Coming up next as we continue with MRC right after this.
From the Mornings with Richard Cross.
People want to hear the truth, man. That's what we're going to do.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Good morning again. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. We broadcast live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia. JT Mitchell in our Super Talk studios. He is the news director with the Super Talk Mississippi news team. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, Richard. It sounds like it's getting pretty busy around you over there in Atlanta.
Well, you got Michael Borkey and Brian Haydad, just like a little circus show over on the side. No, I was laughing about this earlier. I was telling Lance, there's this guy. I think he was from a station in South Carolina, and he is like across the walkway and about 2 tables down. I want to say he is diagonally 25 feet from where I sit. He actually thinks that to get his voice back to his listeners in South Carolina, he has to yell loud enough where he's sitting for them to be able to hear it.
It sounds like you have a nemesis.
He doesn't seem to understand the concept of a microphone and like transmitting over the what. So I was looking at the guy sitting across from me for a little while when he started a segment. We just kind of looked at each other. We're like, kind of scared me a little bit. Like made me jump.
Like, don't gotta yell, man.
Good morning.
That is why they invented microphones. You do not have to scream. People are trying to wake up.
That is how it works, no doubt. Glad to be with you always. What are we focused on this week in the Super Talk Mississippi newsroom?
Hey, we're watching a lot, and obviously in Atlanta, you and the guys, Caleb Sailors from Super Talk News, you all are going to do a fantastic job covering SEC Media Days. Atlanta's happening, too. I mean, you have the Home Run Derby tonight. Brent Rooker, he's my prediction to win it. Beyonce,
is he now? Feels like kind of a homer pick.
It is a homer pick, absolutely. But the real homer pick would be if I lived in Atlanta and chose Acuna to win. He's not going to win. A lot of people think Cal...
Because he's not participating.
He's not? Since when?
No, since they announced it last night. He's out, injured. Not going to participate, and they replaced him with, was it Matt Olson?
That's why you're in Atlanta. Up-to-the-minute updates. But that's going to be...
Actually, it was the C-Spire text line that informed me of that after I mentioned that Acuna was in it earlier this morning.
Our
listeners are on it, brother.
They're sharp.
Just on it.
And they hold us accountable, which is good. Mm-hmm. So you have the Home Run Derby. That's going to be 7 p.m. tonight on Fox. Beyonce's also in town. I know you and Haydad will hit that up. All-Star game.
Night.
Oh, how was it? I know you went, right?
I did not. Traffic was not great. She was playing at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is half a mile from where we sit. I actually made the strategic decision on the way in. Instead of going straight to the hotel, we would just go straight to dinner and then go to the hotel and hopefully not overlap. And that was turned out to be a pretty wise decision.
Good.
I think Houston had to get here earlier with the equipment, and he had to fight the traffic, and it was a scene. A lot of Cowboy Carter spandex, I'm told.
Man, she's changing genres, getting people excited.
Or not.
It
has not necessarily been critically acclaimed. There were a lot of people that liked it when, they just wanted her to put a ring on it. But the Cowboy Carter stuff has not been quite as well received.
Hey, so it is busy, but back home in Mississippi, the rest of the news team will have you covered You asked some of the stories that we're watching. You and I last week, we talked about the strange occurrence that it was where there were 3 train crashes in a span of 3 days. I mean, you and I had never heard of that happening anywhere, but especially here in Mississippi. Well, we kind of have an update because one of those crashes you and I talked about was in the village of Glendora, which is in Tallahatchie County, less than 200 people. Maybe some of our listeners are there. Well, good news for them. The water is not contaminated because after that crash happened, we found out that one of these train cars was carrying benzene, which can be a toxic compound used in items like coal, laundry detergent, and other consumer products. And if ingested, especially at high levels, it can be detrimental and even deadly. But the MSDH and Canadian National Railway took samples and said that the water supply is clean. You can continue drinking water if you live in the village of Glendora.
Good news.
That is good
Great
news.
Yeah, I did learn from your report in that story that so they're gonna change the testing procedures, and they're going to do it yearly for the next 6 years or so. And after 3 years, if they find out that the water is still good, they will go back to their normal testing a water source once every 6 years.
That's correct. Just out of an abundance of caution.
I didn't know that water systems were only tested for cleanliness once every 6 years. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah. But
okay.
I don't know if that's the same for every water system, but maybe Dr. Dan Edney and company will come on your program soon to discuss. Other news that we're watching here in the Magnolia State is coming from the sky. We are watching a couple tropical developments. As of now, I'm not seeing much trouble, but we, of course, want to stay on it, and we're tracking one front that could bring some rainfall to the southern 6 counties of Mississippi, maybe some carryover showers. By as soon as Thursday, or as late as Thursday, as of now, I'm looking at the map here, there are showers and thunderstorms in Florida, the Bahamas, and those adjacent Atlantic waters that could move over to our portion of the Gulf Coast. But as of now, it's not expected to be a huge impact. And then we're watching another setup that is on track to hit the Atlantic seaboard next week. It's too early to tell if we're going to have carryover effects here in the Magnolia State. But as always, it is hurricane season, and you want to keep a close eye on all of this because it can change like that, right? So we're watching that.
We remember that last year, Archie Manning was the headline speaker at Delta State's annual fundraiser, A Night of Champions. Delta State has announced that this year, World Series winning Major League Baseball manager Mike Matheny and the author of the Matheny Manifesto, in which he, among other things, decries his frustration with helicopter parents and travel ball, and like you need to just get out of the way and let your kids play ball. He's going to be the featured speaker this year. You were there last year, weren't you?
That's right. And last year was the first time Delta State had done this event. And so if you didn't go last year, I highly encourage you to go this year. It was fascinating. I mean, Archie Manning and former Delta State and Ole Miss SID, Langston Rogers, they took the stage last year, and they really just had a conversation like you and I are having, and the rest of us got to watch. And so Archie, he spoke about his kids, of course. He spoke about his time at Ole Miss. And he also told us before anybody else knew that Arch Manning would not be hitting the transfer portal. And so it's intimate conversations like that you can buy a ticket to. And like you said, this year's speaker is Mike Matheny. You probably remember him from his time with the Cardinals. He was one of the stoutest catchers in the entire league. And,
he was great.
They went to the 2004 World Series with him behind the plate. And I know I have to remind you, Richard, that the Red Sox won that. And then in 2013, they went to the World Series with him as manager. and the Red Sox won that as well. That being said, he is
the Red Sox are playing pretty good baseball all of a sudden. They've won 10 in a row, I believe.
10 in a row, 10 out of 11. They need to keep it going, though, because we're still behind in the East. But Matheny is a talented guy. He was a great player, a good manager, and as you mentioned, he's now become a best-selling author. He has 2 books, and he really talks about in his books how influential it can be to approach youth baseball with the idea that you should love the game, you're here to become a better person, and everything else will fall into place. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be on Friday, August 8th, inside Sillers Coliseum on the campus of Delta State. Tickets are available now. Get them while they last.
I have some breaking news for you.
Okay.
From Atlanta, and it has a tie to the state of Mississippi. Do you want that now, or do you want to let that hang?
No, I want that right now.
I'll give it to you right now. Wayne Sanderson Farms is now the official chicken of the Southeastern Conference. The Sanderson Farms brand of chicken, the retail brand, the company planning a campaign filled with humor, Southern charm, and a love for SEC sports that will launch during the 2025 football season. Wayne Sanderson Farms, obviously Sanderson Farms, deep ties to the state of Mississippi. We know the work that Joe Sanderson has done with the golf tournament, with the state of Mississippi, and Sanderson Farms Chicken is now the official chicken of the SEC.
Sorry, Chick-fil-A. That's great, though. Mississippi ties. Laurel,
who knows? Maybe Chick-fil-A buys some of their chicken from Sanderson Farms.
Oh, they probably do.
Maybe that's why it's so good.
Well, I can hear the newsroom from here. They're already working on the online piece. So you can find out more about the official chicken of the SEC at supertalk.fm.
There you go. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. We've got a little bit more with JT Mitchell coming up on the other side of this timeout. Glad to be with you Monday morning, July 14th. We're live in Atlanta, SEC Media Days. Full coverage this afternoon on Sports Talk Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass.
What are we going to do? Rise and shine with information and insight.
Check it out.
Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
Thanks for being with us on Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. Glad to be with you as we kick the new week off on this Monday morning, the 14th of July. JT told me in the break that he's got a dream, and his dream is to one day own a piece of land in the state of Mississippi. And I said, well, I'm glad to know that, JT, because I've got just the people that can help you with that. Do you have the dream of owning land? Maybe it's a big place where you make the hunting rules yourself. Maybe it's a smaller tract where you want to build your dream home, or just a cabin where you can get away for the weekend. Maybe you recognize that land is just a great investment because there's not going to be any more of it. Let me tell you about my friends at David Fisher Land Company. David Fisher Land Company is based in Inverness, right there in the heart of the Mississippi Delta, but they service all of Mississippi, all of Louisiana, and all of Arkansas. They've got over 40 years of experience in farm and recreational land brokerage, land appraisals, and farm land management. Whether you're looking for 100 acres or several thousand acres, or maybe you're looking for an equity share in a hunting club, anywhere in the Delta, from DeSoto County down to the South Delta, David Fisher Land Company is ready to earn your business. They've got customers all over the Southeast, and so David Fisher Land Company could be the perfect choice for you for the property that you want or need to sell. Easiest way to get in touch with them is through their website, davidfisherland.com. davidfisherland.com. Easy to remember, davidfisherland.com. Reach out to David, Jack, or Travis. They'd love to help you with your land needs, and we would appreciate it if you'd do us a favor and tell them that you heard about them from us on Super Talk Mississippi. David Fisher Land Company, davidfisherland.com. So, JT, that's where you need to go for that purchase that you are wanting to make of land.
Yeah, and I know people out there have similar dreams as I do. You have to go there.
Yeah.
You heard it right here first.
That's right, davidfisherland.com. We visited with Andy Gipson earlier this morning. He had some interesting things to say about Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture, and the farm security measures that they announced last week with regard to foreign land ownership. We also know that Andy Gipson is a candidate for governor in the state of Mississippi, the first on the Republican side to officially put his name in the hopper, in the mix, and what we expect is going to be a crowded Republican primary. I said to Commissioner Gipson this morning, and I think you and I have talked about it offline, the 2027 Mississippi statewide elections are going to be really expensive, and I think they're going to be wildly fascinating, whether we're talking about governor, lieutenant governor, state auditor, attorney general. It feels like it's going to be one of the wildest times that any of us can remember in Mississippi politics. It is, and it seems like everybody's hungry. It seems like everybody wants to put themselves into some sort of race. And we see these announcements early. I mean, right now, we sit here, Richard, on July 14th, 2025. This election is not until August of 2027 for the primary. And we have, little less than 2 years. And we have people who have been announcing. I mean, Andy Gipson. I'm sorry, a little more than 2 years. Right. Bad math. Right. Just a little over 2 years. Well, that's why we're in radio. But Andy Gipson announced last month. We also had Shawaski Young, former Democrat turned Republican, announce on our airwaves that he's seeking the office of Secretary of State. Ty Simpson talked with us last week about the announcement that he's going to run for United States Senator. Now, that'll be in 26 in the midterms, not in 27, but he's going to run as an independent. So we're getting that news on the regular right now. We are. And so Ty Pinkins, he announced his kind of in line with how you usually go about it. But these 2027 races, the announcements are coming early, and they seem to be coming often. We got one, I guess it was on Independence Day at an event up in North Mississippi where SuperTalk was there on site. Former state rep Nick Bain, he did not disclose what he's going to run for, but he did promise those in attendance that his name will be on the ballot somewhere in 2027. That's now, right. It will not be governor. I can say that with a lot of confidence. Andy Gipson was also at this same event talking about his run for governor. But who knows? Nick Bain was in the House for over a decade, and he was well liked by his colleagues. He then lost re-election in 2023 by 26 votes. And he openly came on these airwaves and said, I lost this election primarily due to my support of changing the state flag. Right. My constituents didn't love it, and my opponent made it a big deal. However, Nick Bain was liked statewide. At least I got that feeling. And so him seeking a statewide office, especially down ballot, it makes sense to me if he wants to get back into the political arena that this is where he would go. We don't know what office. I will repeat that. But we did an article on the event. He later shared it. And so he seems to be putting stuff together. He's got a website that talks about his platform. And we'll see where that goes. We really will. Thanks for being with us on this Monday morning. We are out of time today. Don't forget, you've got full coverage of SEC Media Days starting today and going through Thursday on SportsTalk Mississippi, starting at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Appreciate you spending part of your morning with us. For Lance Tolbert, JT Mitchell from the SuperTalk Mississippi News Team, I'm Richard Cross. Thanks for joining us on Mornings with Richard Cross right here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Have a great day.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.